Hello and welcome to the Lumen Project. I'm Dr. Helene, clinical psychologist. I am so lucky to have Robert Peterson on the couch with me today. So let's get started.
Thank you for having me here today. I'm
Hello.
really honored and happy it could be today. Yeah,
Yes. Well, I am so grateful because I know you're very busy and living between Dubai and around the world. So thank you for joining me.
sure.
So, Robert, tell us who you are and what is it that you do?
Yeah, who I am.
That's an
Over.
existential question, isn't it?
Yeah. So overall, I'm Alaya Global, and Alaya Global is a modality within many things. We do body therapy, we do acupuncture within NADA and e-acupuncture. We do meditation, flexology, we do ice baths, saunas, we do meridian, and overall we do educational 30 months of education within bodywork and psychotherapy. And yeah, that's what we started up in Dubai now.
Amazing.
I did that before in Copenhagen for the last 5 years as well.
Wow,
Yeah.
fantastic. So, with your clients, you have this multimodal approach, doing the NADA acupuncture and the body work and all these different things. And now you're also a facilitator training the practitioners in your
Yeah, exactly.
methodology.
Yeah.
Very
That's what we do.
cool.
And actually it's nice because one thing is teaching, teaching is learning twice. But when you sit down and make education, when I started to write this education, I did for 5 years and then I needed to take everything out. So you learn again from what you want to educate in.
Definitely. You learn more deeply through teaching and
Sure.
honing your craft.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, NADA acupuncture isn't something that I'm familiar with or experienced. I was wondering if you could tell me, or I'm seeing some needles, maybe show me. What is
Yeah,
this
for
NADA
sure.
acupuncture?
Nada acupuncture is it's not so much used in the normally Chinese medication or medicine, but it's actually help for many things: anxiety, depression, better sleep, all kind of stuff. And it is you put 5 needles in the ears. You put one here, and one here
Hmm.
to calm down the nervous system. And this more often you do it, this better. Mostly I say you need to have 10 times over 30 days, then you really feel it different. But
Wow.
mostly 95 or 96% of everybody who have it the first time always come back and say we had a better sleep.
Ooh, well, that's
So maybe we should try it out.
yeah, let's try it
Would you
out.
like?
And
Yeah,
yeah, I think for me also sleep is something I sometimes struggle to fall asleep. So I'll be really interested to see what happens tonight if I feel calmer and more peaceful.
let's do it.
Yeah, let's
Let's
go.
do it. Yeah.
I'm a bit nervous. Does it hurt?
You feel it a little bit, but it's not hurting. It's very small needles, and yeah.
Okay.
So let's go here. Super fine. So just breathe. There we go. You're doing so good.
Too much.
No. You good?
Yeah.
That one you felt a little bit. Whoop. And let me do the last one here. Yeah, and then if you turn, I go to the other side here. That's fine. You good?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. And so the needles will stay for 30 to 45 minutes. Oh, breathe. Come. Yeah. Some of the point can be differently approached.
Oh.
You good?
So the first few were fine, and then those last two.
And then we put
Oh.
the last ones here. So breathe in. Here we go.
Think Botox.
You do so good. This is better than Botox. So now don't fall asleep, right? Here we go. So
So I feel great.
That's a good one. Mhm.
And so do you do this to yourself?
I do it to myself sometimes, but mostly I like other people to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's a bit.
it's you can do it when you've been doing it a lot of times, but
Mm,
it's always different to have somebody to do it because then you relax in another way, and
yeah, yeah.
it's a very powerful tool.
Mm,
Yeah, combining with the body work we do, or meditation, or breath work, we started to put it into the breathwork sessions
hmm
a while ago, and we do the meditation, then we do the native acupuncture, and then we do the breathwork, and it
mm,
have a change in how people relax in the breathwork.
yeah.
So it's really, really nice.
Mm,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
So usually if you were doing this with a client, would you then just like lay them down and they would relax or?
Yeah, they can lie down, they can sit. There are many theory about how people should be, if they should just sit in peace or if they can talk. And
Mm,
I think you should not be on your phone, not on the computer, but you
hmm
can sit, have a conversation like we have now.
Yeah.
And some people just want to relax, lie down, and it's yeah,
Yeah, nice. So
yeah.
I look like an acupuncture unicorn. I hope it doesn't distract you too much.
No, I should take a picture of you.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
while we have our chat then, tell me a bit about, how you came to this work and, your life story.
yeah.
Small question again.
It's a long story.
We got time.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so actually, I always been interested in how the body works, training, and all this kind of stuff. And then 30 years ago, I was working as a flight attendant. What I loved, it was the most beautiful job. And I had an accident on one of the flights.
On the flight.
Yeah, on the flight. So actually, what happened? We were on our way to Riga, East Europe,
Mhm.
and the two older guys came late. We were increasing, and under the way up, they like something was wrong, so everyone there, and one of the guys got a heart attack.
Oh,
So I needed to take him out, do CPR, but I couldn't get him up. And I was really at that time, I was at the end of my 20s. I was strong, so I was like, how can I? Why can I not get him up? So I did second time and third time. I found out that I forgot to open the seatbelt.
oh.
So what happened? I got a splash in my back, but I was not thinking about it. Did the CPR. We had an emergency landing. Everything was fine. 1 week later, they came and said he survived. I got 2 tickets for the cinema. Everything was good. But at the same time, I had accidents by peeing at night in my bed. And I was like, what happening?
Mm.
And suddenly my sexual function was gone. And at that time, I was flying mostly overseas. So I had a flight. I was on my way to somewhere in the States, New York, Chicago. And we passing Greenland, so beautiful. And I was in the business class serving, and I was serving the food and tell this passenger, oh, look at the nice iceberg down there. And at the same time, I shit in my pants.
Oh no. I wasn't
Really?
expecting you to say that.
No,
Oh
really.
dear.
That was really not good. But so I was like, okay, something is wrong. So actually, what happened when I did this, they found out. Then I went into a lot of medical research, blah, blah, blah. And so a nerve is like a bunch of many, many small. So I didn't dislocated the nerve totally, but like 50% maybe, or 60%. So I went through a lot of examinations, doctors, all kind of examination that you don't even want to do because it was not nice. Um, and after 5 years, they told me there's nothing to do. They started talking about operations. I needed this to pee
A catheter?
catheter. Yeah, yeah. Every time I needed this to go to the toilet,
And you were in your
flukes, and I was,
30s.
yeah, that time I was 31 or something.
Whoa.
I just got my first baby when I was 28. So at the same time the accident happened,
Oh
I
my
got
God.
we got our first baby. So and they took I got lost of license with my flying, and the doctors was like, we invalidate you 50%, the same with like your work. And I was like, no way, no way, it's not going to happen. And at one point they said, you need to, from the airline side, because otherwise you will not have any insurance. So you need to admit that is how it is. And then I started to travel the world to find, I was sure that I could find somebody in the world who could help me in some holistic way. I was looking very much into that. And at the same time, I started to study psychology. But after a few years, I found out it was too much theoretical for me.
To
Theoretical. It was too many boxes. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, in
Yeah.
that sense,
Mm.
I couldn't approach to it.
Yeah.
And then I traveled for 1 year, came back, and then I met a guy in Denmark they called the Miracle Man.
That's the guy you need, right? The
And that was
miracle
the guy.
worker.
And at the same time, I met another Danish guy who's been living 30 years in Asia, doing acupuncture. And the first time I came to Ole Korføli, that was the body therapy man, the
Mhm.
Miracle Man. He gave me a treatment for an hour. I was crying, I was
What
screaming, I
was he
was
doing?
afraid. He worked with my body, he talked to me. When he put his hands on my body, I felt that he went into me inside
Oh, I
and
got
he could
chills.
see me and things that I never, in my unconsciousness. So he told me, come back in a week, but I didn't. I didn't come back. So after 6 weeks, he called me and said, why are you not coming back? I can help you. And I was so afraid. But I came back and good. That was good. And so I had treatment with him 2, 3 times a week. And then I had treatment with the acupuncture 2, 3 times a week. And then, yeah, I think mostly after a year, at some point, when I went for the acupuncture, when he put the needles, it go into your muscles and you feel like you're locked because if
Mm.
you move, because of the needles are into your muscles, you cannot move really. So, and I never know if I should be there 15 minutes or if I should be there 20 minutes or it was 2 hours. But at one point after, I think a year, I was there. And at one point I told Tommy, you need to come. I need to go to the toilet. And he was like, okay, he came in, he took the needles out. I went to the toilet, I sat down and I was peeing. And then at some point I was like, wow, I got goosebumps now.
Yeah.
I could feel it. So I jumped up, opened the door, and he was standing right outside. And I was like, what happened? I could feel it. I could feel it.
Wow. So
So that
you'd
was,
lost your
that was,
sensations
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
So
they came back.
that was kind of a breakthrough.
Wow.
And then with all this, I learned, I started to come under their wings. You can say they became my mentors. And I learned how to work with the body, with the needling, and I started to work with people about. And another story is when I was finished with my school, I was actually educated auto mechanic.
Okay. You're a
And
mechanic.
yeah, and halfway in that, I was like, I didn't. I always came home, my hands was black. At that time, it's more than 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It's 40 years ago almost, or 45 years ago. It was really not a nice job.
Mm.
And halfway, I was like, I don't want to do this. So I was not turning up. I called in sick. And then one day I came home. My dad, he was like, how was your day? How was your day? And I was like, oh, it was good. He said, but they called. They said you were sick for the last week. Ugh, that was not good. So he
Yeah.
said, you started it, you finished it. So I finished it. I never touched a car since. I was not good in repairing cars, but I found out I was good in repairing people.
Mm.
And that's how it started.
So you use that same sort of idea about how a body function, how the car functions, and kind of think
You
about
can
how the
say
body
so. Yeah, you
functions.
can say so. Yeah.
That's cool.
And then I started into psychotherapy, flexology, NLP, all kind of holistic approach to the body. And then at one point, I started to work in Denmark with different kind of what do you call TV stations who did TV programs, Dancing with the
Yeah.
Stars, and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, then I was around.
So you looked after their guests, or
I looked after the people who was in the program,
yeah.
repaired them. They had a lot of uh, accidents, so they
Ah, okay.
trained a lot when they do
Mm.
these programs, or
Yes.
and
And so at that time, were you more focused on the body mechanics rather than the emotional side, or you would do both?
no, at that time, actually, I finished my psychotherapy 1 year before I finished
Mm.
the other educations. So it was, but I was not aware of it. I was not aware of it. And I was not so much aware about what the breathing does to us. And I remember my mentor, he's unfortunately not here anymore, Ole, but he was always telling me, when you have your clients breathing, then you can change them. So it's 65% of the treatment. I was like, how can breathing be 65% of the treatments? But when we start breathe, it's like we have two brains. You have this brain and this brain.
Yeah.
And this brain have exactly the same amount of cells. But up here, it's easy to, if we have something we don't like, we can put a new color on, we can put music on, we can turn it around, we can do 3D. When we start to breathe and come down here and we don't like it, we buckle up or we're breathing up here because it will be a feeling, right? It can be anxiety, all kind of feelings that we don't want to be in. So many people overall, they live from here and that way up.
Yes.
So we need to create a balance in between. And that's actually what we do in Alaya Global. We helping people to create balance in between the mental and physical.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And I think that, so we met yesterday and I was saying it was really nice to meet you at this time in my journey because, for the last 15 years, I've been psychology and, working with the mind, but I see its limits. And I like that you are somebody successful in a more multimodal or more holistic approach, because I don't really think we can have one without the other. We need to be in the body, breathing, expansive, grounded, and then we also need to work on the mind, but they need to be together because we are not
No,
these
exactly.
separate entities.
No, exactly. Yeah,
So
exactly.
I love what you're doing.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about this training course that you take your facilitators or your budding therapists on. What do you do with them?
Yeah. I actually want to just,
yeah.
if it's okay, I
Please.
just want to tell you a little bit about more of my story. If
Oh,
that's
yes.
fine.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, because that's very interesting actually, because, so I never had any fancy homepage or anything, but I find out I was really good in that and people find out. So it's very much about mouth of word.
Word of mouth, yeah.
Yeah. And then I was doing some workshops in Russia, and I had a guy there who was really, really bad in his back. So it's an American guy. And he said, if you ever come to the US, please call me because I have some people who really need this. So at one point we came to California. We had a wedding or something like that. And then I called him and he said, okay, listen, I have this guy. And he turned out to be an NBA basketball player. And I treated him a few times and he was very lucky. I came back and he called me and said, you need to come back because I have this guy you need to work with. So I flew back to LA and this guy seems to be Kobe Bryant.
Wow.
A basketball player. Maybe you heard about him.
Yes.
Yeah. So I worked with him for 8 years, in and out, a lot. And he opened up a totally different world for me because he opened up his network because I did a lot of things from him. So that's made me a totally different kind of approach to different kind of people. It's not about what you are, but it's about who you are. So it doesn't matter if you're a professional player or you're a teacher, or everybody is the same, but we have different levels of where we are in life, right?
Yes. Wow.
So that's where my journey actually began, a lot of working around the world.
So these sort of high profile clients, I guess, help to build momentum maybe behind the Alaya Global.
For sure. Yeah.
Wow.
I was like put on the card, but still very low profile because that's how I am. So when we started up Alaya Global, we find out that we need to do homepages, Instagram, all this kind of stuff, and it's a new world to me. But that's how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does still make me happy though that the transformation you're able to give your clients was sort of the marketing that you needed. I think sometimes some practitioners, they really talk about the transformation and maybe the what they're offering sometimes falls a bit short. But it sounds like, your reputation preceded you and people like, you need to meet Robert. He's going to help you.
Yeah, but that's actually, people got out to this, people was calling me the miracle man suddenly because, that was what people said. So everywhere you go, now we are in Dubai, for example, we work a lot with the polo riders there. And people, they are like, you do miracles. How do you do this? And it's not a miracle. It's just. But it's about getting people into a belief of they can move the mountain themselves, because doctors are good, but at some point they put medication out for a lot of not you lost one needles here, but it's okay. Just put it in. Sometimes they fall out, and that's good.
Does that mean it's ready? It's cooked.
Yeah. And many people come and they are prescribed medication, and when we find out it's not necessary, they start believing it that they can do a lot of things themselves, just even breathing or
Yeah, definitely. And I think, definitely with me growing up, big pharma, it had a lot of money behind it, a lot of marketing. They were taking doctors out, on fancy dinners. So the doctors were inspired to prescribe.
Exactly.
So there's this whole huge movement with a lot of money. And meanwhile, there's maybe holistic therapists with not much money, but they know they can transform, but they don't have that engine behind them.
Yeah, so it's not only celebrities I work with. I work with the mom and the dad and the auto mechanic or the doctors, even the doctors, all kind of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's back to the question you asked before. So the people who come to take this education, it's everybody. The people we had in the education in Denmark is from, the youngest one was my son. He
And how
started
old is he?
18. He
18.
started in 18
Wow.
years, but he's been in this his whole life. So he knew a lot about it. When he went to school, he always, helped people to do something when they had the sport and so on.
Yeah.
And then we have the oldest is 68. Yeah. And she's been working with people her whole life, but wanted to learn more about to help people.
Beautiful.
So she wanted to go into this, not because she said, I need to do a business, but just to have the understanding about the body. What can I do? For example, how easy is it to put the needles? Or I can tell people how to breathe. I can guide them. Or I can do a little release of the ankles on the neck or in this kind of stuff. And then it's all people again, from students to professional musicians. It can be the CEO of a company. It can be a CFO, all kind of people. There are no limit for what kind of people who seek into this kind of education.
Yeah.
And some do it because they have in mind that they want to be a professional worker within this at one point.
Yeah.
Some do it to just experience themselves, to grow in a different way.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And, as we were saying before yesterday, I think how to be well is just the most important thing you can learn. You need to know how to survive, like how to eat and things. But then, how to be well is just foundational to living a good life. So, yeah, it's definitely something I'm investing in already. And maybe one day I can take part in your training as well, because, of course, I want to learn how to always level up and feel as good as possible.
But I think when we jump on this kind of train, where we seek into the body, either if it's the physical or the mental, it will never stop.
Yeah.
We can keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Then we need many life to learn everything, right?
Yes. Yeah. But still, being on that journey is better than just, doing everything that's wrong, which a lot of people do, too many screens, drinking, all these other things we know are bad. So, yeah, it's good to just keep seeking and searching. And for me, anyway, I find it really fun. It's my idea of a good time.
Yeah.
Nice. So, if I was, interested in maybe being trained in your methodology in the Alaya Global method, what kinds of things might you be teaching me as a practitioner?
Yeah. So the 30-month education we do now in Dubai, and hopefully we're going to do it here in Phuket also. Hopefully.
Oh, great!
Yeah, I think so.
Stay less.
At some point. But we of course we do body therapy. We do psychotherapy. We do NADA and ear acupuncture. We do meridian. What do you call it? Teaching in the meridian, the acupressure points. We do nutrition, vitamins, and we do a 10 days fasting program where we bring our students into a 10 days fast, only water fasting. That's
I'm out. I'm joking.
But that's really good. And that's actually why we do the fasting program as well, is because we want to fasting. I just cut a little bit, because I found out fasting is one of the most efficient tools that I can use for clients who have like anxiety, depression, skin problems, all this kind of stuff. 10 days fasting it's make enormous changes.
Mm.
And we want to put the students in so they know the beneficial of what it does to themselves. So when they can, and they learn how to do this program with the
Mm.
clients. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Uh,
can I ask a question about fasting? So obviously, a lot of people know about the benefits of fasting. But one of my previous guests, she was saying that, maybe for women or for different types of body types, like Pitta Vata, Pitta Water.
yeah.
So maybe fasting isn't as good for some people. What do you think?
There are many discussions about fasting. And I think you can ask 10 people and they have different, but I can only talk from my perspective. And I I think everybody can do it
Mm.
unless you really have some illnesses that is not good
Yeah.
or recommendable.
Yeah.
But if you are like normal, healthy, then everybody can do it. I just did a program in Dubai with 5 people here. They had 10 days of fasting,
Oh, wow.
but due to everything happening in the world right now, after 7 days, they jumped out,
Yeah.
and that was people from people are different. The smallest one was like 52 kilos when she started, and the biggest guy was like 113 kilos. The guy was 113 kilos. He lost 12 kilos.
Wow.
The little girl, she lost 3 kilos.
Mm.
So, people are mostly afraid of losing kilos. And then, of course, the muscles after 100 hours, 100 plus hours, then you start losing your muscles. But I don't see it. I always look into, are you healthy? Kind of, then
Mm.
everybody can go into it.
Yeah. And I'm going to assume because you've been doing this for a long time, I guess you're accustomed to checking in on
Of
people,
course.
checking everything's okay. And I guess like that's where it matters who you do these things with,
Of course.
because then you know whether you can push yourself a little bit or, okay, let's stop. It's not
Yeah,
working for you.
yeah. I'm following normally when we do this, they start the water fasting. They always have 30 days drop down. So they are out of sugar, if they smoke, if alcohol, bread. So we at the last week we only have vegetables. And then they start on water. Day 4, they go through cleanse. They have special tea, special juices, oil, salt, and then they drink 4 liters of water. Then
Hmm.
the next 24 hours is everything go out both
Wow.
ways,
Cleansing.
cleansing really, yeah. And then we talk every day together. We stay together these 3 days, and then we have a meridian cleanse, lymphatic drains,
Mm.
and then I talk with them every day
Yeah.
to check in.
Yeah.
How are you today? You want to carry on the next 24 hours until,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
normally 10 days.
Because I guess that's where some of the dangers are if somebody's just doing their DIY
Yeah,
program.
yeah,
And
yeah,
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 okay. Well, that's good to know.
yeah.
Maybe I will try fasting.
It's really good.
Okay, I'll try,
Yeah,
I'll try.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So tell me a bit about anyone maybe you wouldn't work with, or anything, if somebody's watching this and they're like, oh yeah, this Alaya Global sounds cool. I want to take part. Is there anyone you wouldn't see?
Not, no. I don't say I don't want to see anyone. But at some point, I had more than 20,000 clients in my hand, unique clients in my hands over the last many years. So, and I think I had maybe 2. I think you should find another way, or find another, find
Hmm.
another way to seek help.
Mm.
At some point, when people come again and again, people can come to me and then I tell them, you should come in 5 days, you should come in 1 week. And I can never tell them you should come for 10 times. I never do that because I never know. It can be a different touch, a different word, whom you know that as a psychology. But but at some point, if people think they can have a quick fix, and unfortunately, many people think that those days we have today, um, and they keep coming and they don't do what I ask them to do,
Mm.
because I always send people home with some kind of homework.
Mm.
It can be it's always small homework lessons that they. So if they come back over time 5, 6, 7 times and don't do it, but just come to have this release, then I start telling them to maybe you should look in a different way.
Yeah.
And 2 times in this story of what I've been doing, I have been told people like I don't want to have them to come anymore, because I want rather to have time to someone who want to do something
Mm.
for themselves instead of they come and take the time and don't do anything.
Yeah, yeah. Someone who's
So, but I
dedicated.
will never tell people don't come here before I
Mm,
seen them. Of course not.
yeah, yeah. So even more severe mental health or suicidal ideation, things like that, that's something you can
For
handle.
sure.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And these days today, mostly in Europe as well, we have a lot of young ones, unfortunately, young ones who are looking into suicidal.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And that is one thing, again, that I value with you and some of my other guests is that you've got that wealth of experience. Like, you don't take on this, it seems to me like you're not taking on this responsibility of transformation lightly. Like
mm.
you've got that experience, you you have confidence in your process. And if they do it, then hopefully it's going to go well.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, and of course we help them as long as we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you see, it's 2 people out of 20,000 or 22,000, so it's really nothing because most of the time, or always, actually, we can help them to
Mm,
start going this way. Some people need more help, some people need less. Sometimes you really need to take them in the hand and
mm,
follow them the whole way around. But what I talk very, very much about, I've been doing the last years, is consistency.
yes.
Because consistency is the most difficult for human to be in. You know, if and especially if it goes into the body.
Mm,
And the Alaya training we do, and that's what is in the education as well. It's a training that if you come to me and you have a shoulder problem, of course I look into the whole body, but then I send you home with an exercise who help you to open up the shoulder. It not necessarily need to be a shoulder exercise. It can be a knee
yeah.
exercise or an ankle exercise. And then you go back. But every time you do this, it's open up something emotional in you.
Mm,
So you come back after 7 days and I ask you, did you do it 3 times a day? It takes 2 minutes every time, right?
mhm.
And you tell me, no, I didn't. I said, why? No, because I didn't have the time. I said, it was 2 minutes, 3 times a day, 6 minutes. But every time you do it, it opened up something emotional. If I told you to go back home, give you 6 dice, put them on top of each other with number 6 on top every time, you would probably come back after 7 days and tell me you did it every day
Mm,
because there's no emotional reaction on it because it's only your brain you need to use. So you go
yeah.
do. So about this consistency, small things in life that we do 365 days a year make a huge, huge
Yeah,
change. But
definitely.
that's the most difficult part for people. So they are like, can you send me a text? Can you call me? Can you do this every day? You know, and
Mm,
some people, of course, you follow up with, but at some point when you have hundreds of clients, you cannot call hundreds of clients
no,
every day,
no.
right?
And actually, I'll always remember I worked with this really high profile coach at one point, and I had quite a lot of homework to do, and I kind of half did it. And he said, I am not going to do the work for you.
Yeah,
And it was like, because most people, in therapy, you're the client, so they're
yeah,
like, oh, it's okay, next week. He was like, I am not going to do it for you. If I'm showing up and giving you my time and
yeah,
my expertise, you need to meet me and do this work.
yeah,
Well, okay.
yeah,
So now all the time I'm like, I can never be doing more work than the therapist. And another thing I was thinking about with consistency. So in my nature, I'm a little bit like ADHD. I'm like, oh, squirrel, oh, something shiny. And I
yeah.
get distracted or I get overwhelmed being busy. But what I notice is that sometimes getting into the groove can be a little bit bumpy, but
Mhm.
after a while, it just becomes second nature and it's part of what I do.
Yeah,
Um, I've definitely found that with things like exercise, like I will feel very weird if I don't do exercise. It's so ingrained
yeah,
now in my
yeah,
habits.
yeah,
So I think if anyone's watching this and they're like, oh, it's hard for me to stick to something, I think just it's effortful for a while, but then I think it does
yeah.
just become part of your identity and it's a no brainer. I don't know if that's your experience as well or
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But I think most people think, oh, now I've been doing it for 3 months. Now everything runs, but it's not runs after 3 months. You need
Mhm.
really to do it. I think science made some. They say it's between 551 and 555 days. So if you brush your teeth with your right hand and you want to change it to the left, if you do it for 3 months, you automatically will grab with your right again. But
Mm,
if you do it for more than 555 days with your left hand, you will grab it with your left hand automatically.
yes.
So that's say it's 1.5 year. So that's say how long time you need to do
Mm,
something before it's really incorporated.
Yeah.
into your nerve system.
Yeah, yeah. And thank you for reminding us about that, because I think in this day and age where people are really marketing their transformation or whatever, do this for 3 days,
Yeah,
it's going to change your life. Well, maybe. And I'm here, I'm open. Come talk to
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe.
yeah,
But I think lasting change takes that dedication, takes that time.
yeah.
If you really want to see change, like I think you can definitely feel a boost or a little lift after a release or
For
whatever.
sure, for sure.
But if you want to fundamentally change who you are,
Yeah.
that's, I don't think, an automatic process. But if anyone's watching this and they think different,
No,
great.
yeah,
Let's give it a
yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah, for
I'm
sure.
open.
Yeah, yeah. And another thing is actually, I think in this world we are living in today, people are stressing a lot, right?
Mm,
That's how I see it. People are stressful. They need to do everything to do,
mm,
and they want to be healthy as well. So they want to train, but they want to go to the gym, and they have 20 minutes drive. They need to do their at least 1 hour and then 20 minutes drive back. So 2 times a week they skip it because they can't see themselves in it. So that's where the consistency come in as well. Because if they do just 10 minutes of exercise or 15 minutes of exercise at home, whatever they do every day, 365 days, they do actually most at 80% of other people's in a year just to do 10, 15 minutes a day.
mm,
So it's all the small things we
mm.
do a huge difference, right?
Yeah, I love that. And I guess another thought I had is when you start being consistent about your personal growth or your transformation, some things in your life that aren't working for you are going to start to fall away. So,
Sure.
for
Yeah.
example, if you want to be really fit and healthy and you're making that consistent thing to go to the gym, but you're like, oh, it's always a squeeze, then you'd be like, hang on, this job I'm doing, oh, I don't know if it's supportive of this thing that's really
Yeah.
important. So then your environment can start to
Of course.
adjust.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a final question for you.
Yeah. Sure.
So what's next for you? How do you see this work evolving and growing?
Yeah. Um, I have a big heart for children.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have
I,
four.
I have four.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank God for that. So it's been over years. I've been training with kids, unconsciously, with intuition training, because the intuition we use a lot of in the body therapy we do. Um, so I started to work intuition training with kids, and that's actually where my heart is very much, because I believe that the intuition we have become our what is the English word, our identity.
Yes.
Identity, right? And unfortunately, and I know it from myself, when my kids came, and because kids have intuition, like they just spit it out, right?
Yes.
And when we're getting older, we lose it unless we really train it.
Hmm.
So if I was a doctor, my dad was a doctor, my granddad was a doctor, and my little son Vincent come and tell me, "Hey, Dad, I want to be an engineer." I would tell him, "Hey, listen, we are doctors in this family. Everybody's doctor. You're gonna be a doctor. No, that's not a discussion." And he's like, "Okay." So he grow up, he become a doctor, but he actually want to be an engineer. So he not grow his intuition into his identity.
Mm.
So right now we do a program with kids in the schools where we create a safe space for them. We are with them for half of a year. We um, we talk with the parents, of course. They're allowed all this program going on, and then we talk with the kids about the intuition, how they use it, how they find it, how they play with it. Then we bring the parents in and teach the parents not to break down the intuition for the kids. So next time Vincent he come and tells me, "Hey, Dad, I want to be an engineer," instead of saying, "Hey, we are doctors in this family,"
Mm.
we teach the parents to have the conversation with the kids. So I will, instead of telling we are doctors here, I will tell him, "Oh, you want to be an engineer? Tell me about it.
Mm. What
How
do you
come?
like about it? Mm.
Yeah, what do you like about it?" So, but again, because of we live in this very stressful world, we don't have the time for that,
Mm.
because of course he should be a doctor.
Yeah.
But we train, actually the most training is about the parents,
Yes.
not the kids, because they know how to do it, but we just make them any more aware of how they can use it.
Mm.
And then we bring the parents in, and then we teach the parents how to work with the kids about the intuition, so the kids can, the next generation, that's my goal, can grow up and use the intuition to create their identity
Yeah. Yeah. I
into
think,
what they would like to be.
yeah, I love that. And, again, we were talking yesterday about at school, they're really learning some things that are not so relevant, but for them to be intuitive, to follow maybe like a little feeling about
Yeah,
where they want to go, that's going to be, I think, so important as we move into this
yeah,
very
yeah,
rapidly changing world.
yeah,
Um, and also, as you're talking, it was reminding me of my mum and how she parented me. She was French. She was kind of a bit strict, old school, and everything had to follow a structure. Now it's time to eat. Now it's time to do
yeah,
this. Work hard. Da, da, da. And there wasn't really much space for I don't feel like it. So I think as a parent, it's difficult because you need to get things
yeah,
done. But my style, which might be a bit soft, but I like to encourage my kids with their intuition. So if they're like, I don't feel like eating that today, I don't force them because I believe maybe they're being difficult, it's possible, but maybe it's their intuition saying, No,
yeah,
I don't want to receive that in my
yeah,
body." Or like if I say, "Oh, it's time to wash now," and they say, "No, I don't want to."
yeah.
I say, "Okay, well, maybe later." And just little times I'll try and just give them choice to check in, like,
Very nice.
yeah.
Yeah, very nice. And the kids today, especially if they are in international schools, they probably have a more stressful life than the parents. That's how I see it,
Maybe.
because or what I heard from
Mm.
the people or the children we work with right now, because in the morning they need to be there. They start class at 8 or 8:15. They need to be there 8. Many times the parents need to do something before they go to work, so they want to be at the golf club before and so on. So they bring the kids and tell them, "Oh, you can have breakfast at school,"
Mm.
but they still late, so they don't have time for breakfast, so they skip breakfast, and then they have everything over the day, and then they need to go to football or basketball after, and then they have the study after.
Hmm.
So they have a very, very long day, and sometimes they even if they get food in the school, they not even eat properly,
Mm.
and they run the whole day, right?
Yeah, you're
They
absolutely
come
right.
back late at night, and then they need to sleep, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's how the world is.
Yes, but in my experience, intuition for me happens in those moments of stillness. So
Yeah,
I find it hard to be still, and I'm all a bit. But like for example, I make sure to try and have like maybe a massage once a week, and that I am way more in tune with my thoughts. I'm able to receive like
yeah,
messages,
yeah.
so I create these pockets of time to be still. And I
That's
think as
nice.
parents, maybe sometimes we worry. We're like, okay, well, what are we doing on Saturday? We need something in the morning, in
Yeah,
the afternoon. Let's go, let's go. Let's not. But they need that time, I think, to be
yeah,
idle, to
yeah,
receive
yeah,
messages or I
yeah.
don't know, listen to their intuition.
Actually, it's very good to have an open calendar. Sometimes say Saturday we don't have any
We're
plans.
bored.
Yeah, no, but we don't have any plans. Let's wake up and see what we feel for.
Yeah.
That would be totally new for many
Yeah.
people, right?
Yes.
And they were like, no, we need to have something. We
Yeah.
need to see friends. We need to do something. We cannot just have no plans.
Yes. And I must say, something I do love about Phuket is that it's more like barefoot lifestyle. And I really didn't like it in the UK when it's like, okay, what are you doing? 2 months from now at 2 o'clock? I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll be tired or I don't know.
yeah,
Maybe I'll want to do something.
yeah,
So I like here how it can be a little bit more fluid. And I
yeah,
feel like as a mother, I'll gauge the energy levels of my family. And, and that feels really nice for me.
yeah. Beautiful,
Good. Okay.
beautiful.
So, I guess maybe it's time to get
Time
these
to get
needles
these
out.
needles out. Yeah,
I wonder
exactly.
if I feel any different.
Let's
Is this gonna
see.
hurt?
No, no, no. I just actually need a little paper. Maybe
Oh,
sometimes there's a little blood coming out, but that's good.
am I
If
bleeding?
no, you don't.
Oh, that's good. It's a
But
bit
that's
like getting your
actually
ears pierced,
good. Yeah.
but not as
I
painful.
don't know. I don't have any.
Oh.
So you see, and you turn your hand here, and one of them fall out.
Yeah. Oh, do you count them as you take them out?
Yeah, sure.
Mm.
See here, we have a little blood coming.
Do you think that some people respond better to acupuncture than others?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's where we are in life, where we are in the moment when we have the needles, because sometimes we get in, we are very okay. It's just a little bit. Yeah.
I'm bleeding.
No, it's
Thank
good.
you.
And yeah, of course, because every day in life is different.
Mhm.
Sometimes we get in, have acupuncture, and then we are a little bit. The nerve system is
Mm.
here, so it take a little bit longer to get down, and then we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
a different reaction. And
yeah, yeah,
yeah, the same with breathwork.
yeah,
You can go to 10 sessions. Everything is different. So
yeah. Nice.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm excited for the next part. Well, I get to
Yeah,
experience what you
yeah.
do.
And
Thank
I
you.
was actually thinking,
Mm.
just income, and because now we didn't talk so much about the body work. So I was thinking about, I've been looking at you, and I saw you a little tension in your neck. So
I have had tension in my neck.
okay, so if you want, we can just do a little show off with the body work.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Okay, so Helena, now we just go in and feel here. Oh yeah. You feel this one there, right?
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was talking about. And up here as well there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's open up the lymph system a little bit here. It's very improvised here in when we don't have the table, but everything is good.
It does feel nice though.
So why we open up the lymph system here is to create some circulation in the body. And you need to have your focus on your breathing into your exactly. Yeah. Super good. It's pretty tense up here, huh? Do you feel it like normally every day, or?
Well, recently I've been having some tension in my neck and some tension headaches.
How often do you have the headache? Oh, I can see that. Yeah.
It's quite unusual for me to have these tension headaches. I feel like it's been something to do with my sleep, not being very restful. It's nice and also sore.
It's sore, I know. Yeah.
Not unpleasant though, but just like tight.
It's a different feeling, right? Because you don't feel it like this when you just. Okay, see, we open up here a little bit. Yeah, we need to. Breathe in with your nose and exhale with your mouth. So every time you exhale, you're just letting go, kind of.
Now I feel some emotion, like when you were here.
Yeah. Just breathe and let go. Really good. And again. Let them go.
I feel like this is like this feeling of like I've had to hold things together, and it's like a bit emotion. Ooh. Oh.
That's when you feel. How is your stomach working? Are you going to the toilet every day normally?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I don't know though, because maybe I don't pay attention.
Not too heavy, not too loose.
I think I'm okay. Why? Can you detect something?
Yeah, of course, everything is talking in the body.
Oh, really? What's my body saying?
No, but I feel here your.
That is very.
Pollen. Yeah, exactly.
That is very.
Yeah.
Awfully sore.
So again, breathe in. Yeah.
I'm trying to relax.
Here we go.
Okay, sorry.
Go to that. No, don't be sorry, because it is just relax totally. Yeah.
Do you want me to scoot over a bit?
Just no, it's fine. No, I can handle it. Relaxing. Are you left-handed?
Right-handed.
Right-handed?
Yeah. Most women are right-handed. More men are left-handed.
So nice left.
So is the colon also on this side, or only
both
on the
sides? Yeah, it's the meridian. Yeah.
Oh, that was very nice.
Yeah, breathe. We just use this and here. Yeah, really good. So now I go a little bit back into yes. So the softness or the stiffness in the ear tells about the body as well.
That feels really nice now.
And again, you're breathing, inhale with your nose and exhale with your mouth. Yeah, like letting go so you feel you falling through the mattress every time you exhale. And this more you're putting your voice on, like, sound. So your bite is a little bit. Are you biting your teeth at night?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, see, I just go to your feet now.
Ooh, feel nice.
Just go in here. I know you feel this one here. Just breathe. Come. Yeah. Just relax. Oh. Oh. So when I go in here, you feel this one here. Yeah. Yeah. Come breathe. Find it. Oh. Exactly. Really good. Same here. Nice breathing. Go a little bit deeper here. Yeah. Okay, just relax. I just pull your hair a little bit.
Like flex or?
No, just relax.
Okay.
Just relax, 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 relax.
Oh!
Here we go. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, now I'm nervous.
All the way out to your hip, right?
Okay.
Don't push. Relax. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, I don't like that.
Relax.
If I don't like it. Okay.
I need to have this one here. Yeah. Relax. Because it's related to your neck. Here we go. Really good. Really good. And your knees, your right knee. It's good. Helene?
Yes.
Yeah, your right knee is good.
Well, not really.
Not really. I could feel that.
It's looser on the right than the left.
Yeah. Okay.
I wasn't sure how to answer the question. It's like, yeah.
No, but yeah, it was.
Wobbly.
I could feel it was looser, and you know, it's not. Let me go up to your hip as well.
I had an old injury on my right side, my hip.
Okay, just relax. Just don't do anything.
This one also feels emotional.
Breathe.
This one, I don't know, I feel like, I don't know, teary or something.
Yeah. On the outside here. So really go into your stomach now, and just go into your throat here. It's not so nice, but it's just to relieve a little bit. Yeah. Breathe into your stomach. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do a little release of the neck now. Just a little one, because we don't have it back up, but it's nice. So this one is already, but this moved a little bit up here now. Let's go a little bit down. Okay. You tried to have your neck released before?
Little things.
A little. Okay.
I don't know what you're gonna do.
No. But it's give a noise, like when you do like this, right? So just relaxing. See you go. All the way. Nice. Up here, relax.
Oh,
Yeah, so
jeez.
and again. Really good. Awesome. Really nice.
It felt very hard to trust you. It felt great though.
Yeah. Okay. How are you feeling?
Yeah. I felt that was like quite a big release on my neck, and now I feel like open, but like, ooh, that was scary. I just can't describe it.
What was scary?
Well, it's kind of a lot of trust, right?
Yeah, it is. It's very, we only spent 10 minutes. So it was about open up your neck, right? Yeah, but we just open up the body a little bit into the stomach, all the way down to the feet, the big toes related to your neck. And
Well, that was also trust. I didn't really want you to click my toe.
yeah, I know. Sorry.
No, it's okay. No, but then it's trusting my
Yeah.
body, but trusting you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think some points were quite emotional. This was the first point
Yeah.
that was emotional, and then
Yeah.
my back. And then after you did that, I feel like,
Yeah.
But the rest
Yeah.
maybe felt.
And normally, I will go deeper into this kind of emotions, open them up, go into your stomach. And it can be emotional, it can be laughing, it can be all kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you for trusting me.
Yeah, so I think you were saying about tension in my neck.
Yeah.
It's not something I always have, but I think also I've been feeling, I guess in my role of being the practitioner, I sometimes feel like I can't surrender or like
Of course.
let go or lean on people. That's my job. So I feel like I was holding a lot of that tension here, a bit of that stress and feeling like I have to do everything.
Yeah. That makes totally sense. And as I said, we did 10 minutes, 12 minutes. So it's very fast to open up the body, but it's possible. But of course, the more you get into the body, the softer you do. I always work with, if you go to a chiropractor, he will just release you and then go. But he don't go into the body. You need to work from the inside and out. They work from the outside and in. How I see it, that's my approach on it. So what I like to do is to open up the body, so you take it to a point where it's ready to relieve itself. So when we do it like that fast, of course, the body get warmed up, we relieve it, but the more you go into the body, this more flow you will be, and this more, of course, emotional or relaxed you will be.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think what was interesting for me is different points felt very different. So here it was like this emotion, like maybe I wanted to be like cry a little bit or just be vulnerable. That was the mood here. And then in my back, I don't know why, but it was like more childhood stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then the neck was really about trust, and the toe, which you said was related. But I was like, oh, I don't trust myself that I'm going to relax properly. And I don't know if I trust you to do my neck. So,
but interesting that you analyzed it so much and said, oh, this is wonderful. This is childhood. This is.
I think it's just what came up. I wasn't trying. I didn't have an agenda. I just, because you were just doing your thing and that was fine. It felt kind of in the body. And then here, all of a sudden you started doing this and it felt like emotional. And it was just what I noticed.
There's not wrong or right or wrong. It is what it is, and and it's also different from time to time. And
Yeah. And then here you mentioned like, oh, this could be the colon. And I guess I just always assumed maybe because I'm right-handed and I do aerial, maybe it's just tightness, but
Yeah.
you think it's could be.
Many of the places that I touch you, you never feel the sensation of what I did because I go into like the meridian, the acupressure points, and of course everything have a story into something else in the body. You know, you cannot. People come with shoulder problem, but you not necessarily work on the shoulder. You work on the knee or the right leg, or because the whole. But you need to see it as a whole body, not only a simple part of the body, right? So if because I say or you feel tight in the colon does not mean that something is wrong with your colon or you're not go to toilet. It can be many things because we always have the physical and the mental side of everything, right? So yeah, so but it's this is our second brain. So you put the word out stressful yourself. Stress is a huge word, right? How I see it, what is stress today? It can be so many things, but not sleeping well or maybe have a lot of thoughts about what to do, where to go next, that can be kind of stress, right? So it go into our stomach. That's the first place where it goes to. And we know if we don't breathe normally, if we don't breathe down, our diaphragm don't go down and massage our organs. And if our diaphragm not working, our psoas is not working, or opposite, if the psoas is not working, the psoas is the whole point, turning point around our life. So everything is connected within each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah, and it's making me think this is sort of ancient wisdom, right? Chinese medicine is so old, and obviously
Yeah,
we're refining it, but it's sort of, yeah, knowledge that we have, and I think it's cool that you're practicing it and developing it. Um, yeah.
yeah.
I was wondering though, like on points, you're like, oh, this is your colon. Do you need to kind of understand what's going on in order to help it, or just by knowing what to do, you're helping my colon, for example?
But I'm not saying that's something wrong with your colon. Again, it's very important.
Yeah.
But what I do always when I start up with a patient or a client, and every time they come, I always warm up the body. So I go through the body, and everywhere I touch is related to an organ because of the meridian, the pressure point. So the body tells me a story. Maybe you tells me another story from your brain, and I just listen to that, but your body tells another story, and the body never lies. I don't say your brain lies, but sometimes you have something in your unconsciousness that you not can speak out, but your body will tell that.
Yeah.
So sometimes, even if you don't feel stress, I can feel the tension in your colon, and that tells me that something is working. You can if you make a picture, what do you call this when you're needling? You have the cotton from what do you call this? You have all the cotton in the you use for the needling. Yeah, what do you call this kind of
Like a bobbin?
bobbing? Yeah.
Maybe.
So it's very fluffy. It's very light, but if you pull each end, it will go from light and then it will turn into a hard ball, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So many times I try to explain that to the clients to tell you, today your body is like here or it's really tightened up. And that means something is going on, even if you don't have it in your mind right now. And then when you talk about it, people, oh yeah, oh yeah, I didn't mention that I actually had this discussion with my husband or my work, and I don't know what to do, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we have things that is in our life, people can come in and I can ask them, so how are you living? You eat healthy? Yeah, yeah, I do. Okay, so how is eating healthy for you? Yeah, I drink 1 liter of soda every day. I have, for some people that's healthy. Or they say, are you taking any medication? No, no, I don't. And then after a while they say, oh yeah, I have this medication for my blood pressure, but I took this for 20 years.
So
But
they
you still do
discount
it.
it.
But
Yeah.
but they don't think about it because it's daily life.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
So, but then the body tells you something is wrong, and then when you go deeper into it, so I used to say the body speak to me. So I always grab the legs. Actually, when I grab the legs, stories come to me about.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah.
that's very intriguing to me. So what what kind of stories is my body sharing with you?
Oh,
Like do you feel like you, I don't know, noticed a few things when you were working on me?
yeah, I did. Yeah, but you can say so. So yeah. So how to describe it actually? That if I should give you a good picture of it, that imagine that you stay with both feet on one island, and then you want to go to the other island out here. So you put your leg out here to the other island. But every time you try to put, let's say you put the left leg to the island, every time you try to put the right leg over, it turns you back. And that's because you feel some kind of safe on this island. And but you need to go to this island over here. But you feel safe because of a story way back. Maybe, yeah, maybe from your teens that make that you don't see the safeness over here. But as when you do the move, you will recognize that staying here was not good for you, but you cannot see it. Something needs to open up in you before you take the move, or something. Okay, I put another. You need to be more transparent to yourself, to your heart, before you take the move. If you're not transparent to yourself, to your heart, you cannot take the move. So this more you get in to be transparent to your heart, this easier the move will be. So let me give another frame on that. So because you are what you are, you need to put yourself on top instead of put everybody else on top. And that can be friends, husband, kids, work-wise. So let's say that the girl's calling you out. Today you wake up and you just think, oh, I want to have fish today. The girls call you friends, say, let's go out. And yeah, let's go out. The kids are good. The husband is good. And they say, we go for beef. And you're just, oh, I don't want to have beef. And they said, this place only have beef. And you're like, okay, I go for beef. And you sit there and you're like, ah, why? I wanted fish. But you do it because you want to be a part of this community. But you should have spoke up for yourself and said, hey, girls, can we find a place where we can have beef and steak? Because I need beef today. Or in another sense, if people call you, sometimes you react too fast to answer. Yeah, let's do it. You put your phone on and you think, oh, no, really? So
So maybe don't
sometimes it's
let them
it's
down.
it's important for you to say, hey, listen, I call you back in 2 minutes. Put down the phone, turn around yourself 2 times, and then call back and say, hey, listen, I actually made a plan for myself. It's not possible. Does
Yeah.
it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think with the straddling, these two islands, yeah, very much I relate to that. I had this whole identity, a whole life of everything I knew,
Yeah.
and now I'm trying
Yeah.
this new identity. But I think, yeah, the transparency or being honest with myself,
That's the most difficult part in life.
yeah, I don't know, maybe like how to do that. And I think maybe linked to what you said is maybe check in with myself a bit more to see maybe what my heart wants.
Do you understand what I say when I say transparency to yourself?
Mm, I understand the words. I'm not sure how to then integrate that into my life.
So be more transparent to yourself. That's mean that you want to do something, but it block you because most of the time, and that's what humans do. They think, if I do this, what will people around me think? What is the norm? What my friend thinks? Because when you do that, when you are transparent to yourself, you will lose people around you because then you change. And people will come and tell you, hey, Helena, you used to be like, you used to hold the door for me. Now you don't do it anymore. No, because I don't want to hold the door for you anymore. Okay, then we don't want to see you. And that's maybe people you thought should be in your life forever. You will lose.
Yeah.
So you will have, when you're getting more transparent to yourself, you will lose people in your life. But when you close the door, as you said yesterday, another door will open.
Our door opens. Yeah.
So that's why I think if you really look into it in your unconsciousness as well, you know a lot about it. But it's a move that have a cost, have a price.
Yeah. Well, I think if your hypothesis about it being something in my teens, I remember always being very preoccupied with, yeah, having friends around me. I used to worry if I ever felt left out. So kind of feeling like I need to belong and not be alone. And maybe sometimes, yeah, maybe I please others or think maybe there's this fear of being separated, and I always grew up in very like white environments as well, so I always felt different anyway, and I think I probably overcompensated to make sure I was
Yeah.
in the ordinary,
Yeah.
because if you were different you're alone. I don't know, I feel like that's something that does play a part in my journey now. I don't necessarily want to be, I don't know, too far out of the mainstream, maybe for fear of being rejected or something. I'm not sure. I haven't got it all worked out
No,
yet.
no, and it's not an answer, but two things, and you know that every time we move out of our comfort zone, we change, right? That's the goal, how I see it. And then, what brought you into the study what you're doing? What brought you into that?
I don't know. Well, I sort of decided when I was around 8 years old, like really young, I wanted to be a
Okay.
psychologist. But I think I've just always been very interested in people and understanding what
Yeah.
ticks.
So what does it give you to work with people like that?
Yeah,
To help people?
to help people. Yeah. That's a good question. I like to have meaningful conversations and not just conversations that are light. So I feel always this like privilege when people share. I guess I feel like maybe it's something that I'm good at, holding the
Maybe.
space.
Or are you?
Well, yeah, I can maybe be a bit. Well, I nearly always kind of have positive experiences. I think people feel good and warmed, and like that I able to create like a loving, safe space that I think is healing,
Yeah.
or has been healing for many.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But what,
Interesting.
yeah. What answer were you getting at? Like what? I mean,
No,
I
but
think.
I wonder why you doubt yourself. Why
Oh,
you
yeah.
say, I think, or
Mm,
why you not say, hey, I do this for people, I'm good in it because I'm
yeah.
sure that you're good in it,
Yes, that's true. Well, I guess in case someone says, no, you're not.
and so on. You probably had a lot of clients in your home or in your clinic, so of course you have people who say, this was not me because we cannot align with everybody, right?
Well, I think for me though, I'm very perfectionist, so it needs to be 100% success.
I know that
And if
feeling.
it's if
Yeah,
one person's had a bad experience, then maybe that means I'm not good enough because I haven't been able to give them what they were looking for.
yeah,
I mean, that's not all the time, but I'm just saying that's my little saboteur,
yeah,
my inner critic. Sometimes it's like,
yeah,
well, that person wasn't very happy today.
yeah,
So I'm always looking for the
yeah,
110%.
for sure. Yeah, but that's a good thing, I think. And I think that at some point we will meet people that, for example, I told you before that I had two people that I couldn't help, but I think still I have people who went out of my clinic after two times or five times or 10 times, said, okay, we reached a level, and then I needed to do something else. And I think the most beautiful in our job, no matter if you are a psychologist or whatever, body worker, it is to know when people have to move on to the next level, because I think, and that's maybe a little bit soft to say, but I think many people who work in this field that we are doing, they keep people in the loop. They keep the client in the loop. When people come and tell me, oh, I went to this body worker for the last 10 years. I say, oh, 10 years, okay, that's good. What does he give you, or he give you, or her give you, or a psychologist? And sometimes they not even, no, it's just nice to go there.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I pay $500 every time, and maybe what have you gained for the last 2 years? No, nothing. I just come there and pay the money.
yeah.
And
That's
that's where the we should tell the people, now I think you are good now. Now you need to go out and find your own ways. You can always come back. And I think many people don't do that.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And I think that's something that's a little bit nerve-wracking, maybe, about saying publicly, there are limits to psychology as far as I'm concerned, which is why I'm interested in interviewing people like you. But I think this protectiveness over a discipline is ego. At least that's my view. It's
Yeah,
like, no,
it
my
is.
way is the best. Like, I don't think so. I think I see life as like everyone's on their journey, and sometimes people meet and they help each other, and then they go and they move, and it's more fluid. So that's sort of my philosophy. But if I enter into my scarcity all of a sudden, then I'll be like, oh, I kind of want to keep this client because I really like them, but
Yeah.
that's not, and I don't, but I'm just aware of that thought of like
Yeah.
wanting to keep them because we have such a good chat. But if they really need to level up, maybe now they need to do a breath work, or now they need to
Yeah.
go and become a shaman or
Yeah.
whatever.
That has been my biggest journey, actually. And that's come from my own story, of course. But I think I don't think that how it was from the beginning, many years, the first 15 years, I didn't share anything. Yeah, I had good people around me that could help, but I was so busy. I have more than 2 years of waiting list, and I didn't want it to give anyone to anyone because I was like thinking they are running away from my clients. I'm the best. I can do it, and I was working as I was killing myself, right? And then, due to my life, the last 7 years, I went into a huge process where I never saw myself come into. But at the one point, I was like, to give is to take as well. Or the more you give, this
It's
more
like a
you.
flow, isn't
It's
it?
like a
See?
flow, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then people refer you, it's everything is, I feel like when life is good, everything's in balance. So,
Yeah,
they will refer to you
yeah,
and if you, I feel like my intention, and really my intention with this as well, is just, I fundamentally want people to be as happy as they can be,
yeah,
whether that's with me or you or
yeah,
doing Muay Thai, I don't care.
yeah,
But really that's what motivates. So
yeah,
answering your question, that genuinely is my motivation.
yeah.
If I was motivated by money, I wouldn't do this job.
No, no, no. You shouldn't. No, no, no. But that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, well, we
Okay.
could talk all day,
Yeah.
but I think probably it's a good time to finish. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I feel really
Thanks. Thank you. Thanks. It was really
expansive in my nose.